Hi everyone, Frank Haggett here. I'm back to you again with another tutorial video. So in today's video we're going to be looking at the skin fade, and the skin fade is probably one of the most difficult haircuts to do in gents hair at the moment. So today I have my son Aaron and he's going to be my model, and we're going to implement the techniques that we used on the last couple of videos onto today's cut. I hope you enjoy the video.
Okay, so first of all what we're going to do is we're going to go in and create a nice baseline. So the height that we're looking at here is just about halfway between the ear and the parietal ridge. So I'm just using my wall Babyliss Pro and just leaning in against the head. So it's a very repetitive movement, and just be sure to use a nice little bit of pressure on the skin. If you're too light-handed with the clippers, you won't take enough hair and you'll miss a lot of hair. So then you'll have to keep on going back over it, and that will just result in the haircut taking a lot longer than what it should. So this baseline should be relatively straight. We don't want any wobbles, any bumps. So I'm just maybe level with the temple area here. So you can have a chat with your customer at the consultation stage and ask them the height that they want their fade at. So that's really important. So we want to get the fade at the right height. So I'm trying to do a medium to high fade here. So this area will be a lot shorter by the time I'm finished. And I just work that around the back and also onto the other side. I want to go back over this area again and just cross check it, brushing away with my fade brush. Be careful around the ears. Bend the ears down using the inside part of your clippers just to clear off any loose hairs. Okay, so now we're going to make this area a lot shorter here, and I'm going to go in with my Babyliss Pro skeleton trimmers. So this will take this area around here shorter than my 0 blade. So if I was to give it a number, it would be almost like a 0-0 blade. So I'm going to go in with this trimmers, just starting at the bottom. And I don't want to go as high as this line. I want to just stay underneath that line, and just with a slight flicking movement, just fade it off the head. So this just gets it a little bit shorter, because in a minute I'm going to be going in with my foil shaver, and that will give us that skin effect. It'll take it down to our skin fade. So this just prepares the hair, takes it down a little bit shorter, and gets it nice and clean. If I didn't take it in with the trimmers like this, it would make it a little bit more difficult for the foil razor to do its job. It would just put a bit too much pressure on it, and it might be a bit uncomfortable for the customer. Okay, so now I'm going to go up to my 0.5 on my clippers. So that's with my lever fully open, okay? So we just pull the lever back, and roughly I'm going to go about the width of my finger. So roughly about 1/4 inch. And I'm going to flick the clippers off the head just to create a nice graduation. So just starting underneath the line, and as the clipper blades go through the line, I just fade it off the head. So I'm not fading it out too much. I don't want to build too much weight. I'm looking for a little bit of graduation here, and just work across this area here and through the back. Okay, so now we're going to jump from the 0.5 to the 1.5, okay? So 1.5 on the guard here, so it's a 1, and then pull your lever back, that makes it your 1.5. And same process again, going up about 1/4 inch, starting just underneath my baseline from the previous, and just flicking off the head. I'm using my fade brush to brush away the loose hairs. So already you can see the fade beginning to take shape. This just takes a lot of practice, but if you get lots of practice in, and now is really the great time to be putting this kind of practice in, this can knock a lot of time off your haircut. So if you're spending 30 to 40 minutes on your gents cuts, this can knock these haircuts down to 20, 25, 30 minutes. So that's the 1.5. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to the transitional blade. So the transitional blade is a USA 1.5 blade, and it's about the equivalent of maybe a 1 3/4 blade. So it's a little bit longer than my 1.5 blade. So what it does is it allows me to go that little bit higher and just make the connection from the sides to the round of the head, but I'm not going above the round of the head. Very little to take off here, so I'm just really just taking off the ends. So now we just need to remove this shaded area here. So I'm working back down through my attachment. So I'm going to use the number 1 with my lever closed. So I'm just going to go over this area here and just work back down through. Again, just going straight up, and I'm also going diagonally across the hair as well, just to make sure I didn't miss anything. So again, we're working down through the attachments. Now I'm putting on my half transitional attachment. So that's a little bit shorter than the one. So it's almost like a 3/4 blade. And again, these two extra attachments are really good for just for polishing off the haircut. If there's any stubborn lines you can't get out, they're really good extra tools to have to get a nice seamless fade. Nice bit of pressure. And just follow the growth pattern. Follow the way the hair is growing. So we have to be going against the hair all the time, against the grain of the hair. And just repeat this around the other side as well. Okay, so now we drop down to my Babyliss Pro skeleton. And again, this takes that a little bit shorter, again a little bit tighter than my zero blade, and prepares it for the foil razor. So again, I'm going about halfway up with this, and a slight flick out just on the ends as well. I'll just give you a little bit more blend, a little bit of graduation from this zero of the trimmers into the zero on the clippers. Just go diagonally across it as well, just to make sure you don't miss anything. And also around the ear, bend the ear out of the way, make sure there's no small ones hiding in there, and just push them out. Okay, so we're just going to create a nice definite parting here. So we're going to start at the front, turn the trimmers upside down, and just press it in against the parting. So we want to create a nice thin line here. We don't want to go too wide. The last thing we wanted to go is too chunky with it. Nice and fine, and work down through the back. Just repeat the process. If you want to go a little bit wider, just keep going back over it a little bit. So we don't want to put it in and move the machine. That will give it a real wide line. So a really fine, definite line is what we're looking for. Okay, so I just dried everything off there over to the side and dried the front back. I want to keep the length in this here. We're actually growing it at the moment. So this area here, I just want to shade this down a little bit more. It's a little bit shadowy. So I'm going to go back in with my transitional blade. Put the blade open first, just to soften it out a little bit. And just to see, does it take around anymore. The last thing we're going to do is go in with the foil razor. This is the Babyliss Pro foil razor. And I'm just going to go in and halfway up here. I'm going to keep it relatively low. We don't want to go too high. So I'm going to work down, and then I'm going to work up through it. So I work down to clear off any of the hair that's left over, and then I work back up through it just to get it really, really tight. So if you want to get it really skin tight, then you work back up through it. So just a hairline at the front here, just going to go in with the outliner just to create a little bit of definition around the front here. Same with the hairline. I've already dried off the hair, so we're not really taking anything off the top. He wants to keep the length in it.